This is why you're not manifesting. You're just memorizing. You are actually rehearsing your old identity on repeat by what you're doing right now. And we will fix it in the next 48 hours together. Just before I give you the outline of this video, what we're going to be covering, let me tell you, if you're looking for proof that manifestation works, this video is not for you. We are way past that. So you can see proof at the link in the description. This is also where you book my coaching if you would like help with that. But people are literally changing their lives with this advice. So manifestation is self-mastery. And when you master yourself, your perception, your outside world changes. Then you can change your own health, your own wealth, your own business, your own relationship, whatever you would like. The method is the same. This exact video is as a response to a lot of people that have been doing manifestation for years without the big results. And I oftentimes ask them, so what are you doing right now? And I see the same patterns repeating. And this is what we're going to be covering in this video and how to solve that problem. So intro and hook, what does this mean? Why is it different from anything you've heard before about manifestation? Then we're going to cover the core problem. So why most people are not creating something new, but repeating their entire life. Then we're going to be covering, thirdly, how identity shapes reality. And this is my model, the self-perception, the belief encoding, the frequency embodiment model, a 3-phase model. Then we're going to be covering the science and proof behind this, the quantum mechanics, the perception, the classical evidence. Then we're going to talk about the 3 phases of true manifestation, like I just told you in the third point: self-perception, reset, belief encoding, frequency embodiment. And we're going to be covering that so you have something practical to leave this video with, so you can actually change your life after watching this video. Then I'm going to give you a short little 48-hour identity shift challenge. And then I'm going to just give you a call to action if you want to work with me. But you can also skip that final part. Don't worry. So, main point in this video, most people think they've changed something when they learn manifestation, but they haven't. Like, realize that a lot of rich people, they don't know about manifestation. A lot of poor people know about manifestation. So manifestation is not just, yeah, I've learned it. I've read a book. I've heard that a thousand times. People tell me, I've studied this for 10 years, but it's not working. While it's not a matter of studying it. You have the power within. So it's not a matter of, let me believe that I have that power, but how do we remember in our system to use that power in the correct way? So yeah, you wanted that car before, you wanted that house before, right? So what you're doing right now, yeah, but now I'm focused on wanting it even more. Well, that is actually pushing the thing away, not increasing the likelihood of you having it. And yeah, you added the technique on top. Some of you added robotic affirmations, vision boards, scripting. Doesn't really matter what you added, but you added an element that was already existing inside of you before you started manifesting. Like that car you want, that house you want, that relationship you want, it was already there, that desire. So increasing the desire is really not manifestation. It's really not. And we'll talk about that more later on in this video. But yeah, the core problem, if the identity behind the desire does not change, then you just keep on repeating, looping in that past. And an important final note to say in the intro is that you have manifested everything you have right now in your life. So if you're not changing something else than just a technique, then you're really not going to change. Like, the outside reflection is the reflection of your internal world. And if your internal world does not change, then how would you expect anything else to change? So maybe you want your business to change, but you find yourself looping back into old patterns where you don't know what to do. It's not working. Maybe it's with your health. Maybe it's relationship upon relationship that it just keeps on failing. Well, this is what I'm talking about. Maybe you know about manifestation, but you're still repeating a behavior, a thought pattern, an emotional pattern, and that is what we're going to be fixing. That is why I also always say manifestation is self-mastery, because we're changing you, so you don't have to change your world. Manifestation is, in a very relevant sense, automatic. you are not getting the thing. The thing wants you, but only if you change. So that's actually a very good sentence to remember. Like the thing is looking for you. It is in your awareness, your desire. It's one of the possibilities of timelines that you can jump into. So do you want it? Then change. You're not creating it. You're not lacking it. You have it in a specific accommodation of your personality. If you change into that, you'll have it automatically. So now we're at the core problem. Why you are memorizing, not manifesting? Well, every time you affirm, visualize, or speak, you do it from the same old self concept. And a good example is I'm rich, but the energy is actually I'm not rich, right? You decide to say it every time you feel, oh, I don't have money in my bank account. Let me affirm I'm rich. Oh, right? You keep on diving into this lack with a solution. Well, okay, let me solve this. Let me solve this. So you are maybe more than before focused on your lack. So your perception still matches the current world, not the one you want. You are not actually embodying being abundant or healthy. You are embodying more of what you do not like. What will that do to you? Well, give you more of that. So you can't create a new reality while emotionally living in the old one. It's simply not a possibility. And what we will do before going into this third chapter of this video is that we will need to realize that in this world of manifestation, you owe yourself the luxury of dividing yourself into two parts: the external world, which is not you, your internal world, which is in some very relevant sense not you either, but divide the two and allow yourself to feel a certain way without it showing externally. Allow yourself to feel good without people having you feel good. Like, we need to go into a different route in our lives where we will change our self concept in such a radical manner that we become unstoppable. And soon you will be a person where people ask you, but how are you so confident? Well, I chose to be. I just move with conviction, because why would I not move with conviction? And if you have not watched any other of my videos, you're like, but Chris, I don't feel confident. Well, watch the other videos then, because it's your choice. I know it does not feel like a choice right now, but you can move your awareness to a part of you that is confident. There are stuff you are very confident about. You are very abundant in your lack. You don't doubt specific things in your reality. So you have these emotions, you have conviction, just in the wrong things. Move your awareness to something that you pick out. Right? But we grow up in a belief that I will need to feel what outside world is telling me to feel. I will believe when they tell me how I look. I will believe when they tell me who I am. But realize you do not have to. You can pick a thing, act like it, feel like it, choose inside. Enough about that right now. How identity shapes reality. So the chain that decides your life is actually your self-perception. Who do you believe you are? Your beliefs. What do you think is possible for you? The frequency, the emotional signal that you send out, that is very much based on the beliefs and self-perception, and the results, the outer reality that matches that frequency, and in turn just feeds back into the self-perception. And then you start this loop. And that is why it's always a self-fulfilling prophecy. Be very careful about what you tell, like what narrative you use about your friends, your kids, your parents, because that narrative, they catch it and live it. Your narrative right now, you got it from your parents, and maybe it's a shitty present, maybe it's a good present. If your parents taught you, well, you're the crown prince of Kenya and you have $50 million, you will grow up in the belief that you have that. But if they tell you, well, you're bad at math because I was bad at math, then you will grow up believing you're bad at math without ever realizing you don't have to be. You don't have to adopt that identity. Even if you're bad at math, right? You don't have to adopt it. You don't have to identify with it. The identification with it reinforces it. And the people looking to become healthy, the people looking to become billionaires, the people looking to become A loving partner in a relationship needs to adopt that identity first. Identity feeds the emotions, the thoughts behind the actions, and the actions feeds the results. And the results, they build on that self-concept. So manifestation is a spiral. The more you do it, the better you become at it. So the signs and proof, I will quickly face over it. There's a lot of people on YouTube talking about this. I don't really like to talk about this because what I find is a lot of my clients, they have really done a great job of learning this. It does not mean that you live it. You can educate yourself in this, know exactly the experiments done in this industry, know exactly how some people believe this universe is like unfolding, right? But it is really not a matter of your concern, right? Some of you would like to be scientific about it and tell yourself, well, I would like to know how I change my reality. But what I would encourage you to do is be your own experiment. Try this out, right? Try changing yourself and see what works. Like, give yourself that doubt. Give yourself the benefit of that doubt and say, maybe I can change. And then who cares how it works? Who cares if I don't believe in God? Some people say that to me. Who cares if what I call it, the universe, Allah, God, source, it doesn't matter really. What matters is that you can change your life and you can do it in as little as a few days, a few weeks. So the science improves, quantum mechanics, observation collapses the wave into a particle, perception shapes experience. You have heard that before. So, and there are several very famous examples of this. The most famous example is that when you watch an electron, it appears where you observe it. So it's in a superposition. That sounds very weird. And then scientists have begun to discuss, well, that's the same with every particle. So if you observe an electron here, it is here, but only if you observe it here. If you observe it in another place, it's there, which in turns into that is how reality works. Where you move your consciousness, where you move your awareness, is what is being created at that moment. So if you identify with something from very little, you keep on just repeating that in your world. If you can change that concept, have you realized that you can just move your consciousness to a new thing? Like if you close your eyes and watch a polar bear, then you see it instantly inside. And over time, you will see it on the outside. And you can do small experiments just at nighttime. Watch something in your head that you don't normally see, a specific bird, a specific animal, a specific thing, and then watch your life. Within a few weeks, that thing will show itself to you. And my first experiment with this, like from years back, was in a meditation. I was just picturing a blackbird over and over again in my head. And then I think 30 seconds, 60 seconds later, it hit my window. That's why I have it tattooed on my arm, right? But what happened is that blackbird followed me around for a few weeks. And you can leave this video if you don't believe in that story, but I think you have stories like that yourself. And I was about to the next morning I was about to enter into my car, and it was sitting on my car. And normally birds fly away when you like get close to them. This one just stayed. I was actually kind of worried for it, right? Because when I entered the car and started driving, and then I stopped, looked outside, it was still on my car roof, and I was like, "What is this bird doing?" Well, enough about that. You can prove it to yourself just by doing this exercise. That's not what we're going to talk about today, but this is actually a proven thing in physics. This is how this works. Another very elegant way of proving this, how the internal reality affects the external reality, is the placebo effect. I know you've heard about this before, but if you believe you get a certain medical supplement, there will be a very good chance of you having the results, even though they were just lying to you. They were actually giving you a pill, vitamin pill, something like that, right? That is called the placebo effect. And why does it happen that people suddenly lose their marks on their skin or specific like symptoms to allergies when taking a pill that is not the right pill? Well, because they believe in it. Their awareness shifts to a reality where they don't have that. And then in turn, the external reality changes. And it can be so instant you wouldn't believe it. Like there is this disease identity, like dissociative identity disorder, where I think you know it as multiple identity disorder, maybe. Split personality, some people call it, but it's called dissociative identity disorder. And when these people, it's rare, but it exists, then some of their personalities, they can have like allergies to bees, be terrible allergic to bees. If they get stung, they will die, and then shift to another personality 5 minutes later that is not allergic to bees. Right? It is mind blowing to read about this, and but in the manifestation community, it really makes sense. Like nobody that knows about manifestation has proven this to themselves, thinks that this is not possible. They just think, yeah, obviously, because they are shifting their awareness. When they shift to a new personality, awareness changes, consciousness changes to a new thing. They don't know they have this like problem in their life, and therefore they don't have it. So the identification with stuff is actually what matters, right? So, and yeah, obviously, it's also mentioned in scripture, in the Bible, as you believe, so shall it be done unto you, right? So from the inside to the outside. And also in the Quran, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change themselves, right? It is also from the inside to the outside. If you believe in like this, in this arena, manifestation, Allah, God, consciousness, source is all the same. Like that universal, the all, that higher power, infinite intelligence, the thing running this show. So now we're at like the fun part. The three phases of true manifestation. So phase number one, self-perception reset. Realize you are not your thoughts, emotions, circumstances. You are awareness itself. And you can do this by sitting with me right now. And as you're listening to me, instead of having your focus out here, move it in behind your eyes. And watch that energy in behind your eyes that looks out through your eyes, that listens out through your ears, that senses your hands. Notice how that awareness inside you is not you, or it is you, but it is not really this thing you call you. This thing inside is just aware of everything else. It has no name, it has no age, it has no hair color. It just identifies with stuff. And if you can stay in that, then you'll realize I'm nothing. Yes. And since you're nothing, you can choose to be everything. Because it is identification that makes you create a new world for yourself. That is how you like quantum leap. You go back to that nothingness, stay in there, and then you slowly begin identifying with new stuff. Where would I like to move my awareness? And if you're at the beginning stages of this journey, close your eyes, do the same thing, or you can go through images in your head from childhood birthdays or something that you like. And then realize at every one of these 5 to 10 scenes you are picking out, the awareness in that scene, the you in that scene was never something. Like you can look at the image you see, and then you look at another image and another image, right? The you observing that image does not change. You have always been the same. You will always be the same. Maybe when you look in the mirror, you'll look older, but that is the identification. That is your body. That is not you. That is not your awareness. Good. That's the self-perception reset, or a small part of it. But that's the important thing you need to know right now. You need to find this you and stay in that. It's actually staying in the present moment. It's a very beautiful place of just, I'm just aware. Yes. So when you go in there, for some of you, that will feel quite good. Like realizing, okay, so that tenseness in my body, I'm just aware of it. That negative feeling towards my bank account, I'm just aware of it. Like my awareness is not identifying with anything. Only if I choose that it needs to identify with something. I can actually feel my feet hurting, but my awareness can still tell me, yeah, I'm not hurting. I can notice that your feet are hurting. They are somehow connected to me. I can feel everything that you feel, but I'm not your feet and I'm not hurting. So see if you can make this distinction inside of you. Then phase two, the belief and coding part, actively choose new high concept identity statements. So what would you like to be? If you can choose everything I just told you you could, you only believe yourself to be Jack because your parents told you your name was Jack, right? It might not even be true. It might be that they just told you your name was Jack, but they actually named you Blue Dragon in your birth certificate, right? So so what if they came and told you you're actually Blue Dragon? Well, then you have just believed a lie, but you thought it was true. And that is how tricky perception is. So if you move your perception to something for a long time, you'll believe it's true. And when you believe it's true, reality changes. So we will choose new things to believe ourselves for the first time in history, first time in your history. You will just pick stuff. I will believe myself to be perfect, making money every day, lucky, right? Pick something. And I would like for you to pick something that revolves around something you believe you're not right now. So if you believe yourself to be anxious, pick that you're not. You're very self confident. You're untouchable. You're unstoppable. And then practice reacting as the new you, even when the old you shows up. So then find a situation where old you oftentimes reacts with anxiety. And then practice seeing if you in that moment can find the true you. Where's the anxiety in your body and where's the observer? Identifying it's not you, telling awareness, okay, I will give my awareness a thought it can observe. I will give it a new emotion it can observe and watch how you react. Like I had a client get totally rid of his like afraid of flying by doing this exercise for just a few minutes, right? He was so used to identifying with being afraid of flying that he just immediately, when he thought about flying, tensed up. And that's the thing perception awareness does, right? It keeps identifying with what it's used to identifying with. And then he one day we talked, and then he chose, well, I'm not afraid of flying. That's my new identity. That's my internal home. Externally, yes, I'm afraid of flying. My body reacts to it because it has been reacting for 30 years, but I'm not. The perception, the thing I'm focused on is not afraid. I'm looking at an image inside my head. It describes me as I love flying. And when that happened, he acknowledged that, yes, emotions are rising. Old identity is showing, well, that's not me. And he could feel the emotions, but the first trip he took with a plane, much more pleasant because he knew it's not him. He did not have to react to it. He did not have to believe that thought. Right? He knew it is identification was the problem. And you can extrapolate this to any area of your life, business, whatever. And then the third part, frequency embodiment. How do you sustain that emotional and behavioral alignment with your new identity? And you do that actually by catching and neutralizing moments where you fall back into old reactions. That is somewhat what we just talked about. And now I will give you the 48-hour identity shift challenge. So for the next 48 hours, choose a new identity. And I really mean totally new. Like no limits, pick anything you would like. And don't be limited by old you. So don't like you would like to pick a number in your bank account and then you're like old you is telling you, well, that's not realistic. Well, screw that. Realistic, rational, reasonable, 3 bad words, throw them out in the bin. All right? So choose a new identity, anything, go crazy. Act, think, and feel from that identity in every situation. Realize that you can make up your own mind to believe a story inside you while outside world is just catching up slowly. And realize there will be a pause. Like there will be a delay, 10 days, 30 days, 60 days, it doesn't really matter. But realize that physical reality, all this solid material, it needs time catching up. In your mind, it does not need time. In your mind, you have instant manifestation in the fourth dimension, inside your imagination. You can just create a polar bear, boom, it's there, right? But out here, there won't be a polar bear immediately. but you need to keep your inside world on something specific. Direct your attention on some very specific concept about yourself, 3, 4 concepts about yourself, and stick to it. Don't let your awareness throughout the day waver. Do not move even an inch. When you fall out, note the trigger, return immediately to the new identity. And I think you should write this down if possible. Like, what is your triggers? Who's triggering you to believe in that old story? So, daily exercises, self perception reset, meditation. Do like I told you earlier in this video, 5 minutes morning, 5 minutes at night. Stay in that present moment where I'm just in my awareness. I'm just watching stuff. And in the beginning, thoughts will come to you. And you can actually stop that, but it takes some practice. But you can just maybe ask yourself, okay, now I will observe, when does my next thought appear? That will actually push that next thought further into the future. Yes. Believe in coding journaling. Write 3 high concept statements each morning. Those should be the same statements. I would pick 3 high concepts. So what would you like to believe about yourself in terms of, you can pick any label in the world, and then pick 3 low concepts, something relating to your specific situation. Do you have bills to pay? Do you have health issues? Do you have relationship issues? Pick 3 things that is like, this is how I should live. And then the important thing with this belief encoding is that it needs to be done from a place of power. Like, you are not in your current identity trying to be these things. You are in your power telling yourself, today, this is my perception about myself. So you are affirming from that identity, not from that old identity. Huge difference in terms of emotional awareness, in terms of power you're claiming in that moment. And then the frequency embodiment log, track moments where you stayed in alignment despite challenges. So this is fun, right? Because this is where it gets really empowering, where if you have watched my other videos, this is where we internalize conviction. So every time you create something in your world, tell yourself that you did it. Every time that you reacted as new you, reinforce it by telling yourself, yes, obviously I reacted like that. That's me. So if you're afraid of flying, that's just an example, and you go on a flight while being less afraid, tell yourself, obviously, because I am not afraid. Old you is dying, right? So track these moments and get like to a point where you do this. Like, not just watch this video and don't do it. Like, really try to change your self-concept, because you are in total control of your entire life. Yes, bad days will happen. Yes, external stuff will happen. But that's not what I'm talking about. You are always in control of your internal world. Right? Yes. So, final thing, no business strategy works if your identity is misaligned with the result you want. 6, 7-figure entrepreneurs, they require like a new channel. They require like a new upgrade in their identity. They don't require a new tactic. So that is what I do with clients. If you would like to work with me, link is in the description. You don't have to be a business owner. You can be an actor, you can be an artist, you can be athlete, you can be whatever. I will help you get into a new timeline. And first and foremost, I would like you to be happy, fulfilled, feeling good. And when we do that first, everything else is way easier. Yes. You don't need more techniques. You need a new identity, and you can pick it yourself. Stop memorizing your old reality, stop affirming from it, and start embodying your new one. Realize you have the power within you, in your awareness. When you focus it on something new and you stick to it, reality changes. For the next 48 hours, live as that person. And tell me in the comments, if you dare, what are you picking and how you're going to stick to it. If you have problems, tell me about them as well. Get out of here. And remember to like this video if you liked it. Remember to subscribe to my channel. That would be lovely. And yeah, talk soon. Now, I will say it again, get out of here.